Would you quit your well-paid job as the managing director of a multinational corporation at the peak of your career, walk away from it all and start your own business? I spoke to a woman who did exactly that. Hi and welcome to the Womenpreneur Asia podcast, and I'm your host, Krista Gun. In episode 9 today, you will hear from Dr. Vimaleswari Ramasamy, the CEO and founder of STRAVIK Business Consulting in Malaysia. She's an engineer by training, and she was also the former managing director of a multinational corporation before she left the corporate world that she had known for more than 20 over years to start her own consulting business. In this episode, she talks about the fears of leaving the corporate world, as well as the value and importance of a good support system when you're making tough decisions. She also talks about finding what she loved doing best and why she decided to walk away from the corporate world, the world she has known intimately since she started working. I hope you will enjoy this heartfelt interview with Dr. Vimi. Welcome to the Womenpreneur Asia podcast, and today I'm here with Dr. Vimi Ramasamy. Welcome, Vimi, to the show.
Hi, Krista. Good evening. Welcome. Back to you too. I'm so excited to meet up with you again on the call.
Okay. So we will go directly into today's show. I'm going to ask you a question. So who are you, Vimi?
It is kind of funny to answer to the question, especially that you know me for many years as well, right?
Yeah.
But I must say, if you ask me straightforward, this is one thing that how I reflect on myself. If you want a straightforward answer, I'm actually a spiritual being, somebody who's been present here and finding what is the purpose of life. And I'm sure people don't give you this kind of answers, right?
None of them have given me that kind of answers.
So it is very strange because I feel that if you understand who you are actually, removing yourself from the titles, from the post, from your relationships, then you will know exactly what is it that you want in life and how is it that you're going to go ahead and achieve it. And that is very, very important. And I've learned through the process. Of course, if you ask me 10 years ago, I would probably start and say that I'm a director of this organization. I hold this position and this is what I do. And I'm a mom, I'm a daughter and a daughter-in-law and all the yada yada sisters and everything, right? But I think I must not say I'm getting old, but I'm maturing. It is probably a learning process to understand who you are. What is it that you want to be associated with you? And how I reflect on it is, if I'm no longer here, what will people think about me? And that is the value that I want people to know that I leave and the value that I carry that will stay along. And that's how I want to be recognized, not by my designation, not by other stuffs that is there.
Okay. So besides being a spiritual being, who or what do you do? What do you do now?
Sure. So if you take a look at it, right now I'm the CEO and founder of STRAVIK Business Consulting. We provide consulting services on a business aspect. And definitely our core thing that we are looking at is business optimization. If you want to get fitter and better, you better reach out to us. So that's the core thing that we want to go ahead and do, right? So that's my current position right now that I have. And if you look at just the other aspect, I'm sure everybody is excited to know I am married, one husband, 2 kids. I have parents who are aged right now and they're going well. I have an older sister, older brother, a younger sister, and a extended family as well. And that is my entire other circles that we have, right? We have large extended family. And
where are you right now? Where are your physical location?
Physical location right now, I'm in Penang Island. Penang Island, very next to University Science Malaysia, to be exact. So that's the nearest place that people will actually recognize. in Malaysia, of course, Penang. So I think I was born in the island, and it gives me a pleasure to say born in Penang. Maybe not made so in Penang, but
Born
I
in
am
Penang.
living in Penang. Yes. Born in
Okay.
Penang.
Which is the same as I am. I'm born in Penang, but I never really grew up here. So that's another, well, something you can be proud of, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just proud to be where I am in Malaysia as the most important thing, right? A Malaysian at heart, and being in Penang gives you the added advantage, right? Because you are in the island, yummy food, lovely people, and it's just beautiful. That's about it. Life is just beautiful here.
Okay. You forgot to mention you have an addition to your family.
Yes. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, I just got ourselves an addition, Roxy, our 2 months and 10 days old pug. And she's such a lovely being. And as I was saying, right, it's interesting on how people think that you had a dog life, but nowadays it's totally different, right? She's like, she wakes up and she jumps, we take her out, we feed her, she exercises. And after that, can you imagine? She comes and pops on a bed and she goes to bed. She sleeps. She takes a nap whenever she likes. She wakes up.
On her own bed. On her own bed.
Yes, on her own bed. and it's so adorable because she's so tiny. And you can see the fun. And that's the amazing thing, right? Can you imagine that we have to do everything for her? We have to clean her poop. We have to do everything, bathe her and everything. And yet, we feel so much of joy and love taking care of her. Such interesting thing, right? Isn't it?
Welcome to the dog owner's world. So I know.
With dogs.
Yeah, but I don't think you ever pampered your dog as much as you pampered this one.
Yes, because this is a very tiny one, and this is one that very true, very true.
Yeah,
they have more time.
So okay, we know. Yeah,
sorry,
telling about
your dog owners.
No, because I actually want to say that that is one aspect of your life, but the other aspects that I'm sure a lot of people will know about you is the very public life that you have, right? Because before you started your business, you were the MD of a company.
Yes, I was the managing director for Malaysia operations for IHS Markit, a data analytics company that was just started. It's a niche company that provided data analytics on different segments, right? Be it economic front, be it transportation, maritime industry, oil and gas, and financial stuff. So I was running their Malaysia operations for them. I started off by taking over the company when it was like probably very new, probably 100 over people. And then I grew the organization up to 600 people until I left. And this was the nice part, right? So when I took up, I had a chat with the CEO, Jerry Stier, at that time. And he had asked me, he said, Vimy, what are your plans? What do you intend to do? And I told him, I said, Jerry, within the 5 years, I'll probably grow the team to 500 people. Because in my mind, growing does not mean in numbers. It's more of the quality service that we want to provide. I want to really focus on different type of capabilities that we can bring into Malaysia, especially in the big data world and the data analytics aspect. These are opportunities that normally people don't get. We wanted to bring that kind of job so people can develop their skills and Malaysian can thrive in that area, right? So that was my commitment 5 years at 2015. Yeah, January I started. And then I left late last year. And obviously Jerry has left. He's managing another company right now. And we are still in contact. And he asked me, he said, how's it? And anything, we had a chat. And I told him, I said, I delivered to your commitment. 4 years, 9 months, but 600 people. And we were meeting all our KPI as what we have set. It has been a very good organization, really blessed with all the good people that we have hired and we have had in the organization. So that's the part that I was just a few years back. Prior to that, I was actually running the HR operations for Intel. That was a short stint that I did 3 years just to go ahead and venture what I can go ahead and do differently, right? Because as you're aware, my engineering, my thought process, everything is engineering.
Yes.
So I needed to come out of that. And that was a stunt that I did. And prior to that, I was always leading engineering teams, R&D, throughout most of my careers. Actually, 15, 16 years, I was doing purely core engineering. I do design work for equipment engineering, precisely probably designing, customizing the machine that tests the microprocessors. And it's been such a fun thing to do. And I still miss that. Not only doing the work, miss the team that I'm working with. And sad to say, one of our close members actually passed away just recently through an accident.
Oh, that's sad. That really is sad. Yeah.
Very, very sad. We've been working together we know each other for 20 years and we are still in touch. And it's like sad. And it's in the US, right? Because I used to do a lot of work in US. So I used to.
You used to work there for a while, right?
Yeah, I was cumulatively about 7 years in US. I also stayed cumulatively about a year in Japan. And I traveled quite a bit in Costa Rica, China, India, Philippines.
So do you miss that part, that engineering life?
I miss doing the actual engineering work, but as I said, the engineering thought process is embedded in my brains. I can't take it out. So it's in me. It's just now you say who you are, spiritually with the engineering thought process.
So does that mean also that you're a very logical, rational person?
Yeah, I'm very logical, very rational, and that's very important, right? If you see the main trait of an engineer is they want to try to solve a problem. They're very good at identifying what is the problem and what is the solution that we want to go ahead and do. And that's my expertise. As I see the business, I look at what is happening in the business. It's very easy for me to actually diagnose what kind of issues that they are facing and what can be done to counteract the situation. And that's how we can actually give them the right solution. A lot of people think that identifying a problem, it's very easy. Through my years of experience, and I'm sure a lot of people out there will resonate with what I say, and I'm sure you also is aware, people struggle to differentiate what is the problem statement. People tend to always look at the symptom of the problem and try to address the symptom rather than addressing the root cause. And that's why a lot of the business, the organization, name it, they do not get sustainable results. The results are very temporary and they actually get it in a very short time frame and they're very excited about it. And then they lose focus and then that problem still is there. And then what happens is all these problems stacks up. At one point, it will just explode and they're unable to fix it and they don't know what has gone wrong, right? And they're trying to troubleshoot like a firefighting situation all around the place. And that's across the years. And that's what I realized, that we have the expertise to really understand what is the problem that you have. What is the root cause, not the symptom. And then we go ahead directly to the root cause to address it. And hence, when we deliver the solutions for you, it's always a permanent fix. It's not a temporary fix. You will be able to really understand. Again, the logical thought process is always very important. Right? You will ask the why it happens, how it works. And that is very important for you to really penetrate. What are the things that you are looking and how you want to go ahead and use it? And with the current situation, as I said, because I'm a techie in heart, I love to use all the technology that is available, the analytics capabilities that we have, the artificial intelligence system. How do we actually connect the dots across the board and look at the problem in the way that we are not only giving you one solution, there's always a multiple solution band, right? That you can opt to go ahead and choose, and which is best, because every business, every individual have different acceptance level, different capability in taking up the solution and implementing. And that's the very thing that people need to do. It's always, as they say, right, one shoes does not fit all. So this is what we have the expertise and how we can help.
Is that how you got the idea for starting your business? Because I guess when you left your corporate job, your last corporate job, people were all asking or wondering, right? Like, what were you going to do next? Would you be heading to another corporation, or would you be doing something else? So is that the reason why you decided to start your business?
I have to tell you, it's like a kind of a joke, right? So, my husband has left his corporate world like 7 years ago. And he's an entrepreneur. He has his own business and he's running that. And I look at him and I realize that's something that I want to become in my future state before, right? Because I see that there is no boundary. He thinks about all the ideas. He's got lots of things that he wants to go ahead and do. He's able to test and all those things. To be honest, as I run the corporate stuff, as you grow up the corporate ladder, the more and more you go, the more I realized that there's a lot of things which were not, were in conflict with my values. And I found that it was not making me happy. And by my thought process, it's very important that I'm a person that I have very clear values in life, and I do not like to compromise that given a choice. And I left the company because I thought I'm a workaholic as well by nature. I've been doing all this work for more than 20 plus years, and I've decided that I need to take a break. And I just wanted to have a career break to just unwind myself and see what is the next course of action. Because I must say, for my job transition, as I mentioned to you, I've never, even the last job that I quit on the 31st of December, I joined on 2nd of January.
You've truly jumped from one job to another without even taking like a week or two to go off on a holiday or a break.
Exactly, because the job came looking for me. I didn't go and look for the job. So when I was looking, the opportunities keep coming. And then when I took up that opportunity, they were always wanting me to come as soon as possible, right? And I'm trying to, let me make the best business decision, which is good. So I want to make sure that I do not impact the company as I leave. And that's what I've been doing. And I realized, my God, at one point, and especially last year, I have to tell you that I had like 6 deaths in the family. My husband's side and my side, my uncles, aunties, and even my boss at IHS Market passed away. And at that time, as I said, I was actually thinking about doing something, as I say, a while ago, but probably like every people who embark on a business journey, they have a little fear. What's going to happen to them, right? Are they going to be okay? What happens if they get out and they are not successful? I had the fear too. But the thing is, it was a logical thing that I could run through my head.
Being the engineer that you are.
Yes.
It's very logical thinking first, right?
And the good part is, I feel very blessed. I have excellent family support and excellent friends. A lot of my network, a lot of my friends were such, I'm sure I bounced ideas with you too. I have such excellent friends. When I speak to them, every time I have conversation, I come out learning new things. And it's such a blessing to have all these things. And as I said, that I really like the idea of how the brain works, the spiritual part of it. I really believe the universe is helping you, right? So at one point, I thought the universe is actually telling me to get out, and I'm not listening to it. So I've decided. So that's when I came to my senses. I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready. I will take a break. So I actually resigned and I took a break. And actually, it was at that time, that's when one of my aunt passed away. And it was just uh, good timing per se for her that I was able to help because she was alone. She was single, she's not married. So we helped on all the stuff. And as soon as I was just wrapping up, just after 6 weeks, my ex-CEO calls me back and he says, hey, Vimy, I want to start up another company over here in Penang. And since you have resigned, why don't you take up the position and run the show? And I'm like, okay. I told him that I will think about it because then I had to go back and rationalize, right? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Take up another job and do the same thing that I've done many times of startup and building the organization, right? Growing the companies. That's what that I've been doing, building groups, taking up teams. And I looked at it and I'm like, I can't, although it was a very good offer, a lot of people were also convincing me, Vimy, this is another data analytics company, which is kind of niche, is very important. And I mean, you are expert in that. Why are you not taking up the...
And you can probably do your eyes closed, right? you can just...
Definitely. I can do with my eyes closed. So I realized that, I like to, one of the core behaviors that I have, I like to keep doing things which are different, innovative, to improvise, to look what becomes better. And it's very difficult if I'm in a situation that I'm doing routine stuff. I can't do that. That's not me, right? So change is the only constant in my dictionary. I have to continuously change to improve. And that's who I am. And I'm not like evolution of small changes. I like revolutionary change. I like to really make it a big
bang, big bang kind of change.
Yeah, big bang and look at the results and see what we can do and those kind of stuff, right? So I sat down, I talked about it, and I took some quiet time to really understand what is it that's coming up into me, right? And I look at the prospect and I was analyzing why the CEO of this company from US is reaching out directly to me to take up this position. What is that I have that attracts him to make the call? And it's like, he's not like, come for an interview, right? It's I'm giving you the job, just take it, right? So in that kind of a mode. So I've been actually thinking about that, and I realized, this shows that I have certain things reinforcing on what are my strength, right? It's very important. So I realized that I'm really very good at startup. I can really analyze things in terms of data, and I can do a lot of optimization. When I grew the organization, people understood how I was growing it and how I was, which makes effectively you run the organization, right? And people in the teams that I was managing were very, very happy as well. Our engagement scores were always the top among the corporate sites. So the thing is, you tap on the strength of the people and you bring out the strength. And that's very exciting. And the people grow and the organization grows together with it, right? And this is obviously on the general perspective. Definitely there's going to be a certain group of people who will never change. We can't deal with it. But these are the things that happens. And I feel that that is my area of expertise on how I go ahead and do it. And then I looked at my husband. He's already doing his business. He has certain capability on the IT and also the innovation part. How do he does things differently as well as from engineering background. So that excites me further that we can actually collaborate and do something better, right? Something different. And then I have a huge pool of friends, as I said, who are also seasoned in their expertise, right? I've got a strong accountant, I've got strong legal, strong HR expertise. And I realized, I think I can go ahead and offer this instead of a permanent type of a job as a service. So I decided, okay, I will start up my own organization. So when I went back and I said, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to take up the position, but I will help you. I will help you to start it up. And this is how I'm going to do it. And this is what's going to happen. And they took that, and I'm sure they're very happy. I just had a conversation with them. They're very happy with the service that we have delivered so far. And they have established right now, and I'm actually in a process of disengagement with them after this, from late last year to now, 6 months, right? Getting all them up and going.
So it means that you decided to look at what you were really good at and what you were after, or what your supposedly employers were after, and turn that into a business that you could offer the same thing, but using what you know as well as the context that you have as a business proposition.
Exactly. Because if you take a look at it, in my mind, if we just look at our own capabilities, maybe that's not something that people want to buy, for example, right? People don't need that capabilities. So we really need to understand what are the problems again that the organization, the people have. What are they looking for? And if you see a lot of the organization, they want to optimize no matter what, right? Whether they are big, small, whatever, they want to be better. They want to have better profitability. And I have the expertise. I have done that. I have a team of people who have done that. And that's exactly that. We have proven knowledge on how to do it. And we have the capability on how to do it. And we know the future state, right? If you look at it right now, I mean, I must say COVID-19 is such a blessing, right?
Yeah.
On a different aspect. Aspect. Not about the death. Of course, that is so sad. But if you look at it, that accelerated people's engagement or adaptation to technology. And that's what we want to deliver. We want to enable the technology so people can use them to make their life better. And that's very important. You know, I speak at a lot of sessions and people have this question to me and say, Bibi, you want technology, but when technology comes, it's going to replace the people. And people don't get it. The technology is to help you so that you get your time so you can think on what you can do better. You know, machines can't think. You think and tell the machine what to do. So that's the thing that people need to understand. The machine only executes as per your instruction, right? So we need to know what is it that we want to instruct the machine to do, right? If you look at it, a lot of people are so busy every day, they don't even have time with their children, with their family. And COVID-19, they allowed that time spent, right? So by adapting to technology, it gives you time so that you can refocus your skills, upgrade yourself so you can do better things. It's not that it's going to take away your entire life. I think that's the perspective on how I see it. I'm sure everybody has got a totally different perspective on that.
Yeah. But your perspective is honed from years of being an engineer. So you actually have a right to say that because you actually built those stuff and done the stuff, right? And you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. So I feel it's more like adapting to it, right? It's not, you should not be feeling threatened about it. It should help you further. So you need to know how to have skill. I feel that people always feel that they are being victimized and this is a problem. So if you think it as a problem, it's always going to be a problem. If you think as an opportunity, then you can actually deliver something out of it, right?
You were talking just now about discovering your own strengths. Therefore, you use that to start your own business right now. Yeah. So let's talk about strengths a bit. Let's talk about how do you know? I mean, how do you know what a specific quality that you have? Or is it through things people tell you? Or is it through self-reflection? How do you get to the point where you are actually sure of what kinds of things you can offer especially if you want to start, use that as a foundation to start a business or to do something on your own? How do you know that? And I think that's also something a lot of people struggle with, like they don't know themselves, right?
Yeah, I think there's no just one answer to your question, right? This is based on my experience, what I've read, what I've spoken, what I've leveraged, what I've learned from a lot of people. Strength is something that you have trained yourself to go ahead and do. And it usually is some skills that you've acquired, you get excited, you continue to do that. You are a very good accountant, you're very good at looking at the numbers, and that is your strength. And obviously, this is very easily identified. People always keep saying that they look at their qualification, education qualification, and they say, oh, that's my strength, right? I would say it depends, because some people just take the qualification for the sake of qualification and it's not there, right? But there is many ways for you to go ahead and understand your strength. Obviously, one thing is you yourself telling what you are good at. Is it easy for you to do accounting, for example? Is it easy for you to step up and have the conversation with people to see that your strength is in speaking? Is it easy for you to grasp the idea on strategy, right? So these are all the strengths you can identify yourself. Once you have done that, what I have done is, I use this concept of Johari window. You are familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with? Yeah. So you need to know that whatever you think it's your own perception, you need to validate, check with the rest of the people around you on which windows they are looking at, right? So when you have a coach, mentor, it's very important for you to bounce the idea to verify whatever you think is a strength is consistent in what they see from you. Right? That will justify, hey, oh yeah, this person is good. So if you are being employed, I'm very sure in your appraisal, you're going to write what are your key strengths, right? And your manager is going to come back and your coach is going to tell you, oh yes, this is exactly on the dot. You are very capable at that. So that reinforces the strength. Of course, you can do a lot of other online assessment to go ahead and check on your strength, right? But very important, you first decide what is your strength. You verify that with close confidence, even your friends, who will tell you the truth, will tell you, hey, this is not right. This is who you are and everything, right? It can be your family members, your bouncing board. My parents has been giving me a lot, my brothers, sisters, and of course my husband tells me straight on my face, what is it? So it's important to validate that. And that's how you actually come out with strength. But you see, I'm a person that I believe if you play with your strength, you can be successful, no doubt about it. But if you want to get outstanding results, then it's no longer about the strength. It's about your passion. And that's very different, right? So how do you, I'm sure you're going to ask me, how do you differentiate between passion and...
Yeah. You read my mind.
I know people ask me this question as well. And many, many years ago, I was in this doubt of, hey, how do I differentiate the strength and the passion? And to tell you frankly, I can't recall who told me this, but I remember this particular thing that I was supposed to do. And later on, as I reflect on it, it seems to be very legitimate that it's definitely a good thing. You see, when you do something with passion, it gives you an immense joy, happiness in you, right? The spiritual being. You feel so uplifted, and it doesn't matter. You can actually work around the clock. You will drive yourself to go ahead and do it. It doesn't matter what time and everything, right? And if you put your heart and soul, that's where you get the best result. That's common knowledge. But how do you distinguish between that? So what I typically did before is I listed down 10 things that happened to me in my past that I was extremely happy. So I wrote it down. And then they told me after a few days, go back and think about it again and see whether you're getting the same 10 things. And then once I looked at all the stuff, I actually looked at what was I doing at the moment that I was very happy? So when you start deciphering that, that's when you will come across what is your passion. One of the things that I have personally listed down is one of the happy moments in my life is when I actually dismantle a lot of things, my brother.
Dismantle?
Yeah, we just like to tear apart. I can even remember the radio that we tore apart. My mom had this, Akai brand, AKAI, very long brand, the radio, and it didn't play. And we are like, okay, we had to figure out what is it. So we take out the screw out of it and we started to dismantle it when we were much younger, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized there's a lot of times that I was very, very happy when I was doing this kind of things. It's excitement. The first thing that comes to me is joy when I was trying to fix things. Right. So then another thing, there's many stuff, right? So I said 10, you can go ahead and think. I also remember there was one moment when I was actually went for a speaking contest in the school and I got the first prize. And I was so elated. I was so excited. And then I was trying to think, why was I excited? Was I excited because I won the first prize? Or what actually excited me? The thing that excited me is not the prize, actually. I was actually very excited that people were listening to what I said. I had the audience attention on me and I was able to capture the attention. Then I realized that other stuffs when I was happy, I didn't get a prize, but as I speak and when people listen to me, I feel a good sense of accomplishment that I'm able to convey the message to them and they're able to accept it, right? So I was thinking in that. So if you look at that, you can really differentiate your passion. So my passion is definitely fixing problem. That's my passion. You tell me to fix something, I will jump into it, right? I will go ahead and do that. I want to go ahead and change people's life by parting my information to them and making sure they're able to accept it. And when they take it and they do something, it just gives me the joy, right? So that's a passion that I'm willing to go extra mile. So understanding your passion, of course, you can't fit your business 100% to your passion because the money as well comes in, right? But how much compatible that you are, that will help you. So it will keep you excited. It'll give you the joy inside. And that's a very important thing. For me, happiness is very, very important. I'm sure you know me for many, many years. And that's one important thing in life. You live only once. And you better make sure that you live a happy life, right?
Yeah. But it seems to me that from very early on in your childhood, you already had that engineering brain, right? You wanted to open up things and fix things and put things back together again. And I actually remember this story of yours where you told me, I think right after you graduated and you went home and your dad asked you to fix the washing machine.
Washing machine.
Yes. What was that? Was that like a big deal? Like, were you supposed to do it? I don't know. I don't know whether that's fixable. Did you manage to fix it?
Oh yes, I did fix it.
So you did do that.
So I did isolate the problem. And at that time, I did not have a circuit diagram for the washing machine. But I found out what was the issue. Then I went straight to the dealer and I told him that this is the problem. I need this part and I need this circuit diagram to make sure I'll be able to troubleshoot. He looked at me, he's like, what is wrong with this?
What is wrong with this person?
Yeah, as I was telling you, right, my parents are just awesome mentor, my dad especially. And if you see, his thought process is if you take up a job, it's also him. When he does something, he knows, he rolls up his sleeve and he knows from down up, right? So he assumed that if I'm an engineer, by the way, I did electronics engineering. So he's like, if you are an engineer, you should be able to fix it. When I wanted to learn how to drive a car, he made sure I wash the car, we wash the tire, we know how to change the tire, we know how to change the oil before I could even take the car out to drive it, right? But if you take a look at it, these are essential skills to give you to know how to do it. So it's very important that we have that kind of thought process, which has molded me in this manner, right?
Yeah. But that was, that story still was in my mind because I thought it was really funny because, of all things, right? You graduated and the thing that your dad asked you to fix was a washing machine. Wow. That's a basic, maybe there was a test to test and see whether you are, the engineer that he thought you are.
Yeah, exactly. And he just doesn't take it, right? He just doesn't take it at a face value. Until now, he asks me, how am I performing, right? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Tiger that. Can't live with it. Have to live with it.
Okay, so let's go into some other things. Like right now, because you have done corporate role, and you're now in your own business. You started your own business and you're running your own business, and I'm sure you see differences in both. What are some of the lessons that you learned from being in two different sides of the world, two different parts of the world, actually?
See, one very important thing, right? As I told you, but the very first thing is, I think people in corporate, I think the thing that I felt, my own personal perspective, when I was in a corporate world, there was, although that you are in a high up ladder, you're an MD of the country and everything, there's always a boundary that you can't go over, you can't go against. There's always a boundary because that is not your organization. And no matter how good you are, how excellent you are, there is a cap when they give you the remuneration, right? But when you are doing your own, it's your decision. You get to choose who you want to work. You get to choose what you want to do. And there is no boundary. It's limitless, right? You decide what boundary you want to set. And it is very dependent on you as a person, who you are, whether you want to be a follower or you want to be the leader in your own context, right? And in my thought process, of course, I did all the stuff and I felt because of my nature that I always want to do things very fast, accelerated manner. I want to do something much more better, faster. When you're in a corporate, you have to go through the layers. You have to seek approval. Although you're doing something very good, everything has to have a process. And so to me, it was like impeding my drive. It was slowing me down. And that was not something that I enjoyed. So, but as I move, the best thing that I feel is it's my own decision what I want to do, how I want to do. So the choice, the management of the whole time and everything is totally very different. And it's so exciting that you get to decide what you want to do rather than having to wait, having to go through different process, although you know in your head that's what you need to go ahead and do that. So very important thing that, of course, it comes with risk, right? When you're employed, you get your monthly salary every time coming in and you don't have to worry about it. But if you're doing your own business, then you need to make sure that there is that business coming in, you are sustainable. And that's the important thing that you need to know. You need to understand where you are, what is your stability, and how you make the transition out. So that part is something that I really excite. And, being a consultant, another thing that I really learned, I know about it because I've been reading about it, but it's such a kick. I have to tell you.
And why? Why is it such a kick?
No, because when I do it in my organization, when I was employed, when I make a decision, the decision is mine. If something happens with the decision that I made in a corporate, I'm responsible for it, right? Whereas right now I'm consulting. I give them the recommendation on what is the best decision. And it's up to them whether they want to take it or not. And I don't need to even bother about what they want to do. I've done the work. I will tell them this is the context, this is why you should do it, and whatever not that is required. And it is left to them to make the decision, right? So why I say I get the kick is when I was in the other side of the fence, I'm actually constantly thinking, is this the right thing to do? Should we go ahead and do this like that? What is the implication that's going to happen and all those stuff, right? But when I'm here, I've already thought through and everything is logically given. But that part of it is actually transition. It was a struggle because it was my mentality, right? We tried to help to make the decision. And now I do the recommendation as a consultant. And the decision is made by the client on what they want to go ahead and do.
So in a way, it also frees you up from trying to make a decision, right? Because I think the hardest thing in anything, whether it's life or business or even working for others, is making decisions. And whether it's the right one, right decision to make.
Exactly, right decision, because it takes a lot of time to understand. As a consultant, I really run through and I put the client in my thought process, right? And I take the business as it is my own, and I will recommend everything that what is happened, right? But then I don't have the burden. Sometimes when you are, I've had sleepless night on what kind of decisions and everything. In this case, I don't have the burden of it, but I feel satisfied that I've gone ahead and checked through everything and providing that recommendation, right? So that's something, it was a nice thing to do. It's like a change, right? It took me some time because sometimes you feel you have the ownership, you want to make the decision, you want to do that. But then you look at it, hey, this is a consulting, right? This is what you get people to do. I make decisions on how I run the business, on what I deliver in the business. And that's what I want to go ahead and do. But so far, all the recommendations that I've made has been, I'm thinking, why don't they challenge me or do something different? But so far, everything has been logical sense for them to go ahead and accept it.
Because I think also you come with a lot of credibility. You have done a lot of work in the space that they are in. You have a lot of experience to offer, and that's why they hire you, right? That's why you're the consultant. Yes. That's why they give you that opportunity to say, hey, give us some of your best wisdom or best thought process about this particular thing that we are maybe facing a challenge or facing an issue. So you come in with what you know and you tell them. So I think that's what they value. I think that's the reason why they hire you and STRAVIK and all that to help them. Sometimes all you need is just someone from outside who has no vested interest in the business to tell you the truth.
That is very, very true, actually.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I realized, right, because when I do this business, I'm actually getting experts to do it. As I said, I have an experienced team that I'm engaging on a freelance, and they tell me that I'm helping them out because they want to do something different and they are stuck. And some of them have left their job. They're retired, but they have got tons of experience in this aspect, right? So I engage them to provide specific things for them. And the good part, if you take a look at it, they have so much of experience in doing it, and they can give you the expert advice. And if the company won't be able to hire this kind of expertise because they are just startup, right? They will need to hire somebody much junior and then get them to excel and get that kind of expertise, because those kind of expertise, they won't be there for a very long time doing this kind of job, right? It's just a short period of time. So that's the advantage that I provide. I have a pool of experts that we can go ahead and support to provide you the right solution for the projects that you need in your business on how to optimize them. That it does not make the right sense for you to go ahead and hire and have them on board for settling those kind of aspects, right? Or going through a different phase in your organization.
I think, and also more and more, it also makes good business sense to hire when you need it.
Exactly.
Rather than, like you said, put on hire someone, and then that becomes an extra headcount, and you don't know what to do with that person for the rest of the year when you only need him for 3 months or 6 months.
Exactly. And that's the fun part, right? We deal with experts. They don't want to have a permanent job. They just want to do a certain
projects, right? Projects.
Yeah, projects. And so we have this good linkage, right? Okay, I want to get this project done. We want to go ahead and do it. So it has been working pretty well. I'm excited. Actually, I had a fear on how am I going to tap this kind of resources, right? But it's been so awesome, actually. You have tons of people out there. You just need to know how to reach out to them and get that right. They are happy, you are happy, and the organization is good as well.
Okay. So we've talked a lot about business, your life, a little bit about your family, and all that. So now I want to go into a little bit more personal stuff. So I want to ask you some things like, what are some of your favorite stuff, right? Favorite.
I love
favorite. Okay, favorite books then. Favorite book or books?
This is the thing, right? I love to read different genres of books, right? It doesn't matter who is the author. I've at a certain phase of time, I actually read a lot of books on leadership. And of course, it's from Ken Blanchard, like Pozos and Kostner, many different authors, right? But I read a lot of those kind of leadership concepts, right? Because I'm so excited about the thought on what is it being a leader like? What is it that you want to improve yourself? What do you want to do? So I read a lot of tons books on that. I mean, the ultimate leadership, Maxwell Hill, and all those things. Right? So the thing is, I try to have certain concepts of the books, and then I try to match back. I also read a lot of spiritual books. I can't say it's spiritual books, but books like Bhagavad Gita, for example, right? The thing is, when I read certain books, I actually take out the essence of what they are actually trying to see. And I find it very interesting on how to connect the dots. It just excites me, right? And just like, Sun Tzu Art of War, that book. And if you look at it, Bhagavad Gita is also a set of a book which is a setting about the war of Kurukshetra. And then Sun Tzu Art of War as well, right? But if you take a look at it, they talk about the situation when people are in conflict and how you resolve the conflict. How do you build your capability inside and deliver to that, right? And they always have a mentor. If you look at the perspective, right, you can actually bring out all the characters out. And then it is more of how you live the life. And that is something that I'm very excited about, like The Alchemist, that book. And those are the books that inspires me, right? I look at the books that gives you, Vincent Peale, those books which says being happy, just how do you be happy? What is it that you want to be alive? And I've read some books a lot from, Swami Yogananda. And that's one of the books that I read about his autobiography, maybe when I was like in my early teens. He was actually talking about how powerful our brains are. And that was so exciting to me. And he was actually conveying the message about law of attraction, right? And it was amazing that that whole entire concept has been brought right now, and the people actually probably repackage it, brand it, and tell about secret, right? But it is interesting that a lot of the olden days literatures have all this kind of concept on how to live. And even a lot of articles, a lot of stories about Buddhism. I like to read on all these kind of stuff and try to connect the dots. Why people are doing that? Even as a Hindu, I want to know, why do we actually go to temple? What is it? Why the temple is built in this way? Why do I have to pray in this certain manner? What is it that I'm trying to do, right? And to me, understanding that perspective really opens up the thought process and how the brain works. And that's what I'm excited. I read a lot of books on how the brain works. Scott Halfdale, and a lot of people think that I'm crazy and they hardly read those kind of stuff. But it just excites me. I want to know which part of the brain functions better. I was even trying to compare how the women's brain works compared to how the men's brain works. Right?
Do you find any differences?
Yeah, I mean by literature, by science, they do say that this goes by the evolutionary on how people were developed, right? The existence of people. Just to give you a simple example, I always tell this story. It excites me. Men have the frontal cortex, which is very large. The forehead. So when men were there, mankind came to the world and everything, their main nature was actually hunting. They require to hunt. They require to bring back the food because that's how they need to live. Survival, right? So when you have that kind of hunting, when you relate hunting, what do you need? You need to know positioning. Your global positioning system must be damn good. So, and you see, when you go hunting, you are not chit-chatting so much. You're very quiet and you are actually focusing on one thing only at a time. And if you see the generation of men here right now, most of the men, if you ask them about location, they can directly see east-west and they can go ahead and get you there. Because their GPS positioning system is very, very developed in their frontal cortex. Very simple text, right? And that's why they're not talking so much. From now, I see more men talking, I think because we have evolved. We are no longer in the hunting mode, right? If you see women, when they were there, they were actually given to develop nurture the environment, right? So they had a lot of women, they had children, they were thinking on community basis, right? So there was a lot of relationship building. There was a lot of communication going. So their communication part of their brain and their relationship part of the brain was very well developed. And that's why if you ask a woman just simply again about the direction. To a man, you can go ahead and tell them, I want to go to this location. This is probably northeast of this place. And you go there and they will know how to go there. But for a woman, most likely, I'm not saying all of them, the first question they'll ask you, what is the landmark to the place?
Yes.
Was there a McDonald's, right? Was there a KFC?
Yeah.
So what they are trying to do, they are trying to establish a relationship with that place. Because they can remember through the process of relationship. And that's the difference on how women think versus how men think, right? And because of the way of the thinking structure and how the brains are wired, right? They always say men are for Mars and women are Venus. People have different perspective, right? It's a different perspective. If you understand how it works, then you appreciate it and then you know how is it. I recall one of these stories, and there was this article about this, that, when men are doing things in their brain, everything is in a small compartment. Have you heard about that?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. They have a compartment of family, they have a compartment of job, they have a compartment of things. So when they're doing something, they just go into that compartment, they look in the compartment, and they come out. And that's very fast.
Yeah.
Whereas women, they don't have one single compartment. Everything is connected. So if you ask them anything, again, the relationship concept, they will try to connect the dots. Is this person related to that person? Is this person related to the food? Am I going to go and get that? And so because they have to process a lot of things, it takes a lot more time to understand what is it that they want to get, right? It's nothing wrong. It's just the thought process on that they are evaluating different aspects versus what they go ahead and do. And all these actually can be trained. Science has shown that they can train you to go ahead and use different aspects of your brains. So you actually have a different way of processing your stuff.
That's why I say that women are better at multitasking, because we can make so many connections and can think of like three things to do at the same time, right? That
exactly.
Really do three things at the same time.
Yeah, they are literally thinking, because they're all in a relationship, right? It's a relationship list, whereas the men are in the compartment list. So you have to take away one compartment, put back the compartment, and then go back and do that. Right? So it's,
which I think it's quite an accurate observation actually. It's that there's, like you said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that how we are wired through years, thousands of years of conditioning.
Yeah, it's evolution of mankind, right? Because if you see, even the animals, if you see, everything have changed because of the nature, what they want you to do, and that has evolved on how you think. And so we need to understand. So these are all a lot of the different books and articles that I constantly read if I can get a hold of them.
Okay, then let's talk about something that you mentioned when we started this interview, is that you are living in an island where there's plenty of good food. So what is your favorite food?
Wow, I have to tell you, my first favorite food is my mom's cooking. My mom is an excellent, she's from Penang too. That's why I have to tell you that. She's from Penang too, so excellent cook. I just love the cooking. Yeah. I really love a lot of green leafy vegetables. Any type that you do with green leaf stuffs. I just love those kind of cuisines. I enjoy Japanese as well, but not so much raw. But I really like their udons, like their soba noodles. I really enjoy their, my God, what was the fried stuff that they have? Suddenly it missed out my head.
Tempura. Yeah, yes, tempuras.
Yes. Okay. I like that tempuras. So I like different cuisines, Mexican and everything. And in Penang we have so many restaurants. I make it a point before that every time I have a visitor or anything, we will make sure we go to a different restaurant every time so that we can check out the different tastes. And that's what I really enjoy, experiencing the taste, what it brings out to you. And then it was interesting, right? I'm just so fascinated on how the brain works, how the body works, how we are going to do this. It's so interesting that, they always say, you are who you eat. Have you heard about that phrase?
Yeah. Yes. So who are you?
So when I take a look at it, you're so funny. They say, who are you? And then I'm like, oh my God, I ate a chicken. Am I looking like a chicken today?
But you eat a lot of vegetables, so...
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things I realized that I actually experienced it. I was a vegetarian probably for 5 to 6, 7 years like that. I stopped eating meat. And I realized at that time, I become a much calmer person. I think my agitation level has actually really changed. And I realized maybe it's because of the chemical functions of the food that we eat, right? The way that you digest them is very, very different than compared to if you eat meat-based or anything. Again, everything is chemical science. And so it gives us a different reaction to the body. And maybe some people may have feel better when they eat meat versus when they eat vegetables. So I really don't know. But I have experienced that. And it's just interesting on what you put inside that actually changes the way you think and how you react. Because the energy level is very different. So it's very important that we look at that. And it's just exciting.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Oh, this is a difficult question. I have to say that I must tell you a joke. In my whole entire life, last year, after I quit the job, was my very first time that I went to watch a movie in the cinema in the morning show with my husband. Can you imagine? I have not gone.
So it means that you have been working so hard throughout most of your life that you never had like a movie break or movie time.
I do watch movies. TVs are not a very good fan. I mean, I do watch TV, but the programs that I used to watch was like CSI. I'm trying to troubleshoot what they're trying to fix and how they're going to do that. I love to watch National Geography to understand the nature, what's happening on that piece. And I like horror stuff, right? Occasionally right now, I'm because I think perhaps I did not have that much of a time. I was trying to do a lot of the things. And there was a lot of things for me to go ahead and provide to others as well. So I didn't waste, I find it was wasting time if I sat there and watched the movie for 2-3 hours, when I could have done a lot more stuff in that aspect, right? And that was the funny thing that I was thinking. So if you ask me what was my favorite movie, I really cannot
Think of what?
think of one. I mean, I just watch a movie and I watch them, and after that I'm done with the movies, right? I'm not. I remember somebody asked me about an actor, Indian actress, and I have no freaking idea who.
Okay.
And the person who asked me was actually from UK, from my corporate company, and it was a senior person, and they were asking me, hey, do you know this actress? You know, they're doing very well. I'm like, huh. I'm like, okay, I really don't know. I don't know. So I can't, I really can't tell you about this. So that's not something.
Okay. Okay, so one final question. What is that one key takeaway that you want someone listening to this interview remember? After all these things that you've said about life, about work, about yourself, about lessons you've learned, what is that one thing that you want to impart?
I think one very, very important thing that I would like people to take away from this session, it's life, who you are, what you are, who you want to become. It's your choice. And that's the very important thing that people need. The choice is theirs. And they need to know how and what choice that they are going to take. That's the important thing that people need to know. The choice is yours, always. And if they believe in that, that's the most important thing in life, I feel. If you know the choice is yours, you vision what you want, and the universe will be there to help you to get what you want to do, how you want to go. I sincerely believe in that. I've seen that over and over again in my life personally, and a lot of people around me. I think there's probably one small part that I wanted to make sure that people remember is life is full of abundance. The more you give, the more you get. So it's very, very important that probably that's one small thing that probably we didn't have much time to talk. I was telling that I didn't have a lot of time. It's not that 100% is consumed by work, but I had a lot of things that I was actually helping others. I was doing a lot of coaching services. I was mentoring a lot of people. I was helping the orphanage. I was doing palliative care for cancer patients. So there's a lot of other things that I found joy in providing service. And I really believe that in giving, you create abundance. And if you have that thought process, God bless you, everything will work out as you desire.
Wow, that's a very good wrap up for our session today. And finally, of course, where can people find you if they want to connect with you? They want to learn more about the work that you do. Where can they go?
They can go to STRAVIK.com and check out the website. Obviously, they can look me out at LinkedIn at Vimaleswari Ramasamy. I have my email address there. Then you can reach out to me on the LinkedIn messaging, and we can definitely get connected on that and through emails. I think that's the best way for now.
Okay, so thank you so much, Vimy. We had such an interesting conversation, and we barely scratched the surface. Actually, there was so much more I wanted to ask you. I mean, this interview could have gone on for 3 hours if we let it be, but I'm sure that we will save you and your stories for the next round, and have you back again, because there's so many things that I know about you personally that I know that there's so many things you could go deeper. and talk about so many other aspects, not just about business, but also about your personal life and how you became the person that you are today. But we will definitely save the good stuff for the next round.
Sure, always exciting. And I mean, I'm just looking at the time right now. It just flew by, right? There's so much of.
So that's the thing. When you have an interesting conversation, you can bet that time flies. And then you suddenly realize, oh, I wish I asked her this, but I know I can't ask her this because she was talking about this interesting stuff. And so it becomes like quite even for me, when I ask questions, sometimes like, I want to go down this, this rabbit hole and ask her these questions, but I can't because she's talking about this. So there's always this thing that I want to do and I want to ask, but I know that maybe if I don't get to ask it now, we'll definitely have another session where we can ask it again. Yeah. So thank you once more for spending time and sharing your stories and giving so much of insights about not just about business, but also about life in general and also life in particular, your life. So thank you so much
for giving me an opportunity to do the sharing. I think it's always an awesome time to be able to share. And have everybody right. And I think this is very important that people learn from each other, and especially for women, as you mentioned, since they like to build the relationship. Storytelling is about building relationship. Storytelling is something that they will remember, they will relate to. And to all the women out there, I just want to tell you that whatever you're going through, whatever challenges that you're going through, I can bet you they are way more smaller than who you are. And you'll be able to overcome that. Have a good day. Thank you so much, Krista. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to this episode. Find all the details on our website, womenpreneurasia.com. In next week's episode 10, I'll be speaking to Wee Lei Peng, who is the CEO of Berjaya Pack Sendirian Berhad in Malaysia. Her business supplies wood packaging solutions to other businesses such as pallets, crates, and boxes. She's unique in that she's a female CEO in an industry that is dominated by men. It is a tough industry to be in, and strangely, this petite woman never wanted to be in this industry at all. Her story is quite fascinating and yet inspiring too. I hope you will join me to hear her story and find out why she made the hard decision to close her bakery cafe and jump into this business. See you in the next episode.